Hey, how's it going? I want to say thank you for clicking on this video and watching it, and just thank yourself as well for being open to listening to another person's truth, the truth of what I've found about my own existence, what I've found about reality, what I've discovered about the self, about human consciousness, about life here on Earth. Now, I don't exactly know where to start, so this video is just going to be touching on certain pieces of wisdom, perspectives, and applications towards life that will and have assisted me, that allow me to know more about who it is that I am and what I see in the external world, and also what I discover internally inside of me. So let's start off. Let's talk about expectations. Expectations are a dangerous thing. At the same time, that in itself is a belief that I don't want you to take too literally. I feel there's a difference between an expectation and a goal. So let's give an example of this. You have an expectation. Let's say you go on a date with a girl. You have an expectation to have sex with her. Or say your expectation is for you're expecting or hoping for it to be an intimate relationship that develops from it. Again, this is an expectation. A goal would be, say for myself, is to enter a non-dualistic state of being. That would be a goal for myself. Now, I don't have any expectations towards what that is going to be because, say, I hadn't lived a very non-dualistic life previous to that. I don't have knowledge on that area. So for me to gain knowledge, I have to be willing to immerse myself into a non-dualistic perspective without defining in any way prior what that is. Because if I conclude what something is before it has yet to occur or be experienced, well, then I am changing it. I am creating something before I am even know what that experience would bring. So my expectation or my prerequisite literally creates a different reality than in which a non-dualistic point of view would necessarily bring. Before we evolve out of a non-dualistic reality, obviously we live in a dualistic reality, and that's what Earth really is a dualistic paradigm that has been created externally. So I know this might kind of sound a little all over the place, but I'm going to bring it together here. So basically, what we want to do is live a life without expectations, because that way we get to see things for what they truly are. So this is why having any expectation can be dangerous, in the fact that it isn't truly dangerous, but what it does is it puts us in a place where we might have a judgment of something because of our expectation that isn't really what it is. That isn't really what it is. So say we have an expectation of a job that we are coming into. Say we have an expectation that it's not going to be fun, or that it's going to be just like hard, grueling work. Any of that expectation, now all of a sudden we believe it's a hard, grueling thing. So if we have an expectation of it being hard and grueling, then it's going to be hard and grueling. So why would we want to do that to ourselves? We come here and we are immersed into a world with its own perspectives, its own ideas, and what is at the most forefront is what is being considered as the matrix, what is being delivered in the media, what is being delivered through our educational system, what is even being delivered through our parents and friends, because they are relaying the same paradigm. Not everybody, but if you feel like you are stuck in a current state of being or a current way of being, and you aren't necessarily content in that, or your happiness relies on external events occurring, your happiness relies on expectations, your happiness relies on your expectation of something occurring. So if that expectation does not occur, you are not happy. We are going beyond that. We are already happy being that of which we are, not being controlled in any way. So let's talk a little bit about control. This goes back into expectations. We attempt to control situations that are occurring by creating how it's going to occur, by giving our expectations. Say again, we're going on a date. We are having an expectation that, an expectation that should have sex, that you want sex. So now, if that doesn't occur, you are not happy. Or say you want to have an intimate relationship with that person. If that doesn't occur, you are not happy. But what if you were not supposed to have an intimate relationship with that person? What if having sex with that person will then bring you closer, but that person and you yourself have emotions that you do not yet understand? And when those emotions come up, because we cycle through emotions that we are repressing, when those emotions come up, we may potentially blame the other person. That's called emotional enmeshment. We enmesh our emotions with other people that have repressed emotions inside them. We attract what we are holding on to. We also attract what we are not holding on to. We attract, when we are free-flowing, we attract others that are free-flowing, others that are not holding on. Because we do not need to hold on, but we do not feel safe and secure and trusting enough to let go and allow our experience to show us everything that we need to know. But when we are this way, we need to be vulnerable, we need to be open, we need to realize that what can be exposed within ourselves, everything that is within ourselves, is not inherently bad or negative or anything like that. We may perceive it as that way, but it is not. We have all these different personas, and these personas help us get by. These personas are a way of control, because we know how we are going to act. We know how we are going to act within this persona. But what if we say, fuck a persona, fuck how whenever I am attempting to project myself, because I do not need to control that. I already am what I am. And to not have to hold any of that back is empowering. It feels good, and even if there is things that come up that we don't want to acknowledge, like say an addiction, or say that we have envious feelings, or hate, or anger. If we judge these things as bad or negative, then we may keep repressing them. We may keep holding them back. But these things stay within us, and they will eventually be projected outwards. So, we must come to understand why we feel these certain ways, understand why we have these certain beliefs, so that we do not project them onto other people and continue to create a cycle that is toxic. So I know this was kind of a little all over the place, but I just wanted to start off by doing some videos here, and I just want to start to relay the knowledge and wisdom that I have come to know that has made my life not dependent on external events for my own happiness. My happiness is being centered within my own being. And when I am not happy. Because I'm not completely authentic. I am not portraying what it is that I am. So in a way, I'm living a lie. Now, we don't have to judge ourselves based upon this because we were unconscious of it. We are unconscious that we are living a life that is not completely authentic to who we are. If there is still anger within inside of us, that's a sure bet that we're not living in our complete authenticity. Anger is a powerful thing. Anger is a great thing. Anger is a tool for change, a tool for alchemical change. Because when we are not living in the truth of who we become angry. It starts with frustration. It doesn't just get to anger right away, and it doesn't breed into hate right away either. That takes years. That takes a while. But because so many of us are not conscious, we are not conscious and aware of the fact that we are conscious awareness, that we do not evaluate and contemplate and look over that of which who we are, because we do not realize that we are not separate from a higher perspective. We are the higher perspective. We just need to be willing to bring that higher perspective into the places that are more of a conditioned perspective, and say, bring them into a place where we are more mind identified. So let's talk about a higher perspective, saying that we are consciousness, that we are the creative force behind all things. We can bring that into our mind identification. We can bring that when we are in a place where we are stuck on a certain idea of ourselves, a certain idea of other people, a certain idea of how our life should be or where we should be right now. We can let go of these things, and we can examine ourselves from an unbiased perspective. We can be discerning enough to see, are we being completely honest with ourselves? That's all for this video. There's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a ton more, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to do it. And you know, this isn't going to be for everybody. It's only for people that are more open-minded. Some people might be beyond this stage,
And there's a lot of people who aren't, and there's a lot of youth that are coming into this world that are disillusioned. And what I want to be able to do is to lift that veil, is to break that veil of disillusion and allow for more light to come in on these dark places that we are scared to examine. I want to give you the empowered feeling and knowing of that of which who you are, to examine the areas that are a part of who we are, but they are not the whole. We are going to integrate these dark parts. We're going to bring them to the surface for integration. We are going to bring, say, an angry aspect of ourselves to the surface so that that anger can be processed. That anger can be processed, and we can have a better understanding of ourselves because we can understand why we are truly angry. Not because of what that person did to us, but to understand that we are angry, that we have allowed other people's views and other people's emotions to impact how we act and condone ourselves as human beings. So, let's just end it right there. If you have any questions, I would love it. If there's any certain topics you want me to talk about, I would love for you to bring that up, and I would love to talk about it. If you would like to challenge me on any things that I'm saying, I would love for you to do that as well. I would love for you to question anything that I'm bringing up. I'd love for you to question other things in your life. I'd love for you to question anything. Ask me the question. Ask yourself the question. And don't stop until you have an answer that resonates with yourself, that resonates with your beingness. When you feel a certain vibration that literally goes through your being, when you feel that vibration, when you feel that knowing, I want you to have that experience more often, where it's like, oh yeah, I know that. And through knowing that, I can now see things that I'm doing that are not aligned with that knowledge, that's causing more suffering. Okay, so we'll end it here. Peace and love, and I want to say that I'm here to support you on your journey of becoming a sovereign individual, of becoming a responsible, independent being. Although we come to understand that we are interdependent, but we do not have to be solely dependent on others or any one thing. We do not have to be. Everything occurs from within, and we can be independent in knowing that the truth and what it is that we need to know can all be found within. And I'm just giving guidance towards that place, and also sharing with you wisdom of that of which I have learned from that place. Take it or leave it. It doesn't bother me whether or not you believe what I'm saying. Some will, some won't. But more or less what I want you to do is contemplate on these things and allow yourself to put yourself into these perspectives so that you can judge for yourself whether or not what I'm saying is the truth. Peace.